Maybe I'd be happy to let it all go. Dedicate my life to making jelly molds. Learn to cook and learn to sew. I'm a happy homemaker.
Hi, and welcome to the Comfy Red Couch. My name is Tracy, and I'm your host, and I am coming to you from a scorching hot day in Toronto where I have turned off the fans, I've closed the windows so that there's no extraneous noise happening for your listening comfort. Definitely not for my comfort. It is hot. I think yesterday we hit a record high, and it was hotter than in Egypt, Jamaica, and Mexico, from what I heard. I am just dripping right now. Anyway, I am excited that I will be drinking some cold brew tea in a few minutes. But before I do that, I'll let you know where you can find me. I am traceyrr on Ravelry, and I am Comfy Red Couch on Instagram. And if you are a new viewer, welcome to the podcast. I talk about knitting, crafting. I won't have a lot to share today, but that's what I do. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. You know I always love having you. I know you know the drill. You've got your project bag of choice. You've got your beverage of choice. And if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, it's probably a cold beverage like mine will be today. And you are ready to sit down and enjoy some chatter about knitting. And I have a finished object that I am so excited to share with you. But before we get to my favorite things, it is tea time, and it is cold brew tea time. Look at this. The bottle is sweating. This is my Bird and Blend tea filter, and it actually has the old logo, the Bluebird Tea Company, and I just love the front here. Chill, steep, drink, repeat, and I have been doing it with this. I love this thing. This is a Hario tea filter, and I've talked about this on the podcast before. It is my favorite thing, maybe after knitting needles, and it's been used every single day. I go through at least one or two of these a day, and it's been a great way to get my water in because I've been drinking a lot of herbal teas. And today, I'm gonna cheat because it is so hot. So here we go. We've got get the tea ready. I hope no one has to go to the bathroom while I'm pouring that. There we go. We're gonna say cheers first today, and then I'm gonna talk about what I'm drinking. So to a wonderful week ahead. I am starting my holidays, so I am excited to have lots of quiet time, lots of knitting time, lots of tea time, and cheers to that. So it is hot. So I'm just gonna put the lid back on my filter. So another bit later, and then I will be ready to make some more tea. My hands are all wet from holding that sweaty tea filter. Okay, so what I am drinking today, you saw that it is red. It is yummy. Sneak a little bit in. I am drinking David's Raspberry Mojito. I bought this last summer. Actually, it was a 40% off if you bought 200 grams or more. So I bought 254 grams. And this is Raspberry Mojito. It is an herbal blend. It has citrus in there. Of course, it has raspberries. It's got some mint in there. And it is just a lovely, refreshing tea to be drinking, especially on a very hot day like this. And it's got apples, raisins, hibiscus blossoms, carrot, beetroot, peppermint, lime, raspberries, rose petals, and natural flavor. I'm not sure why. I seem to see some citrus peels in here, so I don't know why that's not listed, but that looks like a piece of citrus to me. So lemon maybe. Anyway, that is what I am drinking today. And it's been so fantastic going through my stash with the tea filter. I love it. Now, I think that's all I've got to share for tea. I am trying to get some more of my favorite David's tea, and that is the mango fruit punch. Hopefully in the next few days I'll get some more because I love that one and it tastes fantastic as a cold brew. Anyway, that is tea time for today, and it is so hot I need another sip, and let's just do another cheers because why not? Cheers. This week on My Favorite Things, I have two projects that I'm going to share with you. One of those projects is a finished object. Yay! And the other one is an object that I am just about to start, hopefully this afternoon after I have edited and uploaded the podcast. And I'm really, really excited to start this project. So let's talk about the project I'm really excited to start soon. And this is, I've shared the yarn for it, I've shared the bag. This is the yarn for my Sweet Bee socks, and I caked it up the other day. Actually, I caked it up at about 5 a.m. when it was boiling hot and I couldn't sleep, so I was very excited to do this. This is my Norah George yarns, and this yarn is called A Magical Weasley Garden, and it is a gorgeous green with lots of fun colored speckles, and it comes with a 20-gram orange mini. So the two together are absolutely lovely. And I will be knitting these on my 2.25 Hiya Sharps. And I bought a new counter as well. I am so excited to start the test knit for Jooles of So Sweet Violet, her Sweet Bee socks. And I have the pattern in hand. I got it in my mailbox, my email mailbox, on Friday. The other test knitters have been knitting away and their socks are looking gorgeous. And I've just been dying to cast on, but I needed to get the project that I'm going to share in a few minutes off the needles before I could cast anything new on. So these are the Sweet Bee socks. I cannot wait to get them cast on. So my printer must have also really, really loved this program, this pattern too, because even though I pressed print once, it seemed to print multiple copies. It's actually not this thick. I think there might be 3 copies of it here. I just have to sort through, figure out the pagination, and then I'm ready to get going, get knitting, and move along. So Molly Weasley and her magical Weasley garden will be some beautiful Sweet Bee socks, and I'm hoping I'll have a good amount to share with you next week. In my dreams, and I am on holidays, I would love to share them as a finished object, so it's possible. We shall see. And as I said, the other test knitters have been knitting up a storm. They're looking beautiful. Some of them are onto the leg now. It is a toe-up sock pattern, so it starts at the toe, and it's got a beautiful patterned toe. Like, it's not a whirlwind, but it's very similar that Jooles has created. And from what I'm hearing from the feedback from the other test knitters, it's knitting up. Like, they're not having too many issues. So beautiful pattern, and I'm really looking forward, as I've said like 5,000 times, to getting it on the needles and getting started. But before I start that, I have to share with you my latest finished object. I'm so thrilled to have this off the needles. And this is my Ivy Over the Door shawl. And my Ivy Over the Door shawl is the 3rd pattern from the Shawl Society. And this is a collection of 6 patterns from Helen Stewart. And this is going to be my entry into the Rainbow Along that Amy of Little Tailoress and Jooles of So Sweet Violet are hosting. So I have used a skein of Silk Merino by Hedgehog Fibers, and this is called Peekaboo. And I have used Wish, also by Hedgehog Fibers, and this is done in lace. This was a big shawl and took me a very long time to get through, so much so that it has been the only project that I've been working on for about 2 weeks now. I am happy it is off the needles for sure. So it is a wrap, so a rectangular wrap. It has this beautiful architectural detail at the end, and then we have the ivy and lace, or the ivy lace in the middle, and then we have the mirroring of the architectural detail. So if it were a doorway, it would be ivy over the door. So this is the wrap. As I said, it is so huge, and it was all lace weight. It took a very long time. I knew that once it was done off the needles and blocked, it would be gorgeous. But I do have to admit, it was a bit repetitive, and I just wanted to get it off the needles so badly, and I'm so happy that I have done that. I did take one of the lace repeats out, and even taking it out, it is still so large that I think it hasn't really made a difference with the lace weight yarn. I did use a 3.75 millimeter needle when I knit this, and I used my signatures, and I am really quite pleased with how it's turned out. So I think this is going to be a gift for someone whose favorite color is blue. And Isaac had a teacher when he was in grade 3, 5, and 6. So he had the same teacher for all 3 grades. And last year she left the school, and we were really hoping that Nathaniel would have her as a teacher. And unfortunately, she left the school, so he never had her as a teacher. And my intention had always been, when Nathaniel graduated from her class, which of course he didn't, I was going to knit her a blue shawl. So we are very good friends. We still keep in contact, and I know she's had a really rough year since she left, but I'm thinking this will be the gift for her. And I have called this project Rain on Sunshine, because the blue is like rain, and then I've got the rainbow yarn here, and there's just a quote in the Secret Garden that says rain on sunshine. She says it a couple of times as she narrates, and so this is my rainbow from the rain on the sunshine. So I am so happy to have completed this project. I did go beyond the deadline. I did say last week I thought I would, and that's because it was such a large project. I have, as I said, I took one lace repeat out, but otherwise I have knit it as written, and so width-wise it's the same. So that is what I have been up to for the past 2 weeks, and that's why I don't have a lot of other knitting to share, which means that we are at the end of my favorite things segment. The mailman brought me some lovely things in the mail this week, and he is such a good mailman. I'm looking forward to being home for the next little while on holiday, and I can say hello to him. I'll sit and knit on the porch and see what he brings me every day. There probably isn't a lot, but it's nice to see him and say hello anyway, as long as he's not bringing the bills. Anyway, this week I did get 2 lovely packages, and one was from Vicky of Bird Leg Bags, and Vicky has closed her Etsy shop because of the Etsy rate increases, and I had bought what I purchased just before she put everything on sale for 50% off, which was probably a good thing that I did that, because what ended up happening is the next day I saw that she had a sale on. I went to the shop and it had been cleaned out. And I know that if I had left these in the shop, they'd be gone. So the first thing I purchased, actually I probably purchased them the other way around, but this was one of the extras that I purchased. And it is another one of the sock boxes, and I love these. That's the same as my B one, also from Vicky. And this one is just vintage 1970s cars with the canoes on the top going on those camping trips, and it's like a road trip kind of box. So perfect for socks. Not these ones, because these ones are perfect in my B bag. But I'll have to put maybe another pair of rainbow socks on, because I want to enter the rainbow along as much as I can. Anyway, this is the outside of the box, and there's a little leather pull, I'm trying to think of the word right now, rustic. A rustic pull on the end, and inside a little print with, I don't know if you call them tents, very, very forest-like camping, very appropriate for camping. So that is the first thing that I got from Vicki. And then the second thing, oh my gosh, I saw this and I could not resist. And this is one of Vicki's nest bags, and it squares out at the bottom. And it is just this beautiful fabric. It's got the pink canvas at the bottom, this fun floral fabric, but really what sold me was the inside. The interior of this bag was just magnificent. It's got the little pouches, and it's also a little bit padded, which is lovely too. So I could not resist this lovely summery floral bag. It'll be a fantastic bag to put some projects in that I'm going to work on this summer. So that is what I got from Vicki of Bird Leg Bags. And as I said, she is no longer on Etsy. She has her own shop. I think it's birdlegbags.com. But I love them. It's an addiction. It really is. Bird leg bags. So fun. Anyway, let's move on to something completely different, and that is, oh, spoiler alert, by the way. So I have a spoiler alert from the Stitchery. So this is from Nikki Franklin Designs. This is my embroidery kit for June. Today is July 1st. Happy Canada Day. And so it may be a bit of a spoiler. It may not. If you haven't seen it, you don't want to see it, close your eyes, cover your ears, run screaming out of the room. Do what you need to do, because I'm going to share my kit from the Stitchery, or Nikki Franklin Designs. Inside the box comes this lovely little package and gorgeous handwriting that says alfresco on it. It's too hot to eat outside. You need to eat in an air-conditioned space at this point, and my house is not air-conditioned. I think we're going to be going to the movies tonight, though, because it is so hot we need to get out of the heat. So alfresco, and it is tied with this lovely piece of floral fabric. And inside the pouch, we have the photo of the design, and then on the back of this is the instructions on how to do it. And there is, whoops, a gorgeous piece of linen, and the pattern is printed on there. There's also, and I dropped it, whoops, Scout decided to stick her head under the barbecue, and she looked really quite mangy actually, a bunch of grease all over the back of her neck, and so she needed to have a shower yesterday. So Isaac was great, gave her a shower. Problem is there's now fluff all over, so if there's a little bit of dog fluff on here, it's because Scout had a bit of a time. There is another piece of linen. Oh, you hear your name, do you? Are you going to come and join us? Come. No? Okay. Scout heard her name, got off the other couch, and decided to lie on the colder hardwood floor. There is this other piece of linen, and it's got a bit of a sticky tab on it. So I think you're supposed to maybe embroider this as like a box that comes out. I'll see. I'll have to read the instructions. And this template came with it, so I'm not quite sure what that's going to be. But the nice thing, and then, oh, the colors. The colors for this kit. Beautiful greens, ivories. And look at those gorgeous pinks and purples. I don't think I've ever, I mean, DMC, they've got such beautiful colors, but I don't think I've ever bought these colors, and I love them. They're going to be just so, so beautiful. And in each kit comes a little goodie bag, and this is filled with some vintage things like some lace, some buttons, and this time around, I did get a couple more buttons. So some beautiful, just simple buttons, but they'll be good for using on something. You can never have too many buttons. And then a piece of vintage lace. And then there is a little bit of a floral fabric, and it's a bit crepey. And then there is this vintage piece of fabric. It looks like it's from maybe a tablecloth or something. There's a bit of a hem here. And it looks like it's been naturally dyed in maybe avocado or something like that, because it's got that lovely pink to it. So just some fun little extras that go along in the Nikki Franklin kits. And the Stitchery kit is a kit that you get once a month. If it's a subscription, so once a month subscription, and in the mail comes this beautiful pattern that you can then pop on an embroidery. Let me get the crinkling done. Pop on an embroidery hoop, and you are ready to stitch up something beautiful. So that is what I plan to do in my holiday, is to get some of this beautiful embroidery done. So that was what came in my Stitchery box, and that leaves me with an empty basket. It's now time for some bits and bobs, and also time for a refill. My filter is now empty and dripping with sweat, kind of like I am, and so easy to clean. I just have to dump out they're not grinds really, they're not like coffee grounds, but the bits of the tea, and then give it a really good rinse, and then choose another flavor. I think I've got some creamsicle that I'm going to try. Not creamsicle, it's one of the David's one, cream soda. That I think it's raspberry cream soda. So I'm going to try that one, and I'm sure it will be lovely on a hot day. So I just need a quick refresh. And it's time to talk about what I've gotten up to this week. As always, it was a crazy busy week. I had one day that was basically a 14-hour work day, and I had a little bit of a break in the middle of the day, but otherwise it was a solid day. I am now on holiday, and I am really excited to just have some time for me. I did agree that if they needed me at work, they could give me a call in the next couple of days, but I did say I'm not going in for a lot, just a little bit. So I may go in, I may not. We'll see how that goes, but I've put the offer out there. It'll all be good. Anyway, I am looking forward to just some relaxation time. Isaac did get the job that he applied for, so he applied to be a lifeguard or an instructor, and he had an interview on Tuesday. He showed up early. He was apparently the only one there who had his qualifications all ready and there, and I think he interviewed probably fairly well, although when they gave him a scenario, you know, what would you do if a child fell down and scraped their knee? I said, oh, did you say you'd put your gloves on? I forgot to say I put my gloves on, Mom. And then he just focused on that little bit, and I said, you've got the first aid kit. I'm sure that's something, you know, I'm sure that's not the very first thing that they want to hear you say. They want to look at how you deal with the whole situation. Anyway, so he did get an email on Friday saying that he was a successful candidate. He has to go and do all of the paperwork this upcoming Wednesday. I was surprised it was as long as it was, because you would think, especially with this heat, that they would have wanted to get all the qualified people on the decks as soon as possible to help with the overflow. Isaac did take Nathaniel swimming yesterday because he's 16 and can take Nathaniel, so they went to our local outdoor pool. In Toronto, the outdoor pools are free during the summertime, which is great, and it's just up the hill a little bit, and so they went for a swim, but there was a 35-minute lineup to get into the pool. And Isaac said to me afterwards, there were just people sitting around sunbathing. Why are they allowed in? I said, well, maybe their kids are in the pool and they don't want to, you know, go in the pool, but they've got like a couple of 12-year-olds with them. he got that. And I said, this is, you know, and then they cleared the pool at one point just to, I guess, do a check. And they both came home. There was an emergency. They cleared the pool. I said, no, that's just procedure. That's my years of experience lifeguarding. You blow the pool, clear it out, make sure there's nobody at the bottom, that kind of stuff. You know, just get order, blow the whistle 3 times, cover your ears when you're doing it, because those Fox 40s are loud. Anyway, so today, Isaac called just before I started recording the podcast. They're going to stop at Canadian Tire on the way home, and he's going to pick up his own Fox 40 whistle. He can't have mine. It's my vintage lifeguarding whistle. And so he'll get his own, and he's excited, I think, to start working. I'm hoping that he actually has a chance to do the instructing. I think he'll really enjoy that. So that is what is happening with Isaac. Oh, also he got his marks back, so he did really, really well with his courses, and he's all set up for next year. So next year will be his final year of high school. I can't believe it. Nathaniel, he is now on holidays too. He is excited that he's going into grade 4 next year. He was given the teacher that I was really hoping that he would get, and she actually rides a vintage Vespa. And Isaac never had her as a teacher, but I've always wanted one of my children to have her. So I'm really excited that Nathaniel will have this teacher. And report card, it was okay. He did really well in the arts. Reading, math, okay, we can work on those. And otherwise, Greg has been enjoying riding his new Vespa. He got on it like a, duck out of water or duck in water. I don't know whatever the saying is. It's too hot to think clearly. Anyway, he has been enjoying it, riding around, and we bought him a new cover for it, which fits actually better than the cover did on the previous one. So he has been making sure he gets it covered every night, because people do come along and pick at things, and he has a top box on it. And the last one, somebody tried to see if there was anything valuable in the top box. The only thing he keeps in there is his helmet. But it's unfortunate they do tend to ruin it, so it's better to cover it. So that's what he's been up to. I am now, as I said, on holiday. I have finished my ivy over the door. I am about to start my Sweet Bee socks, and I am looking forward to just some quiet time. My plan over my holidays is to get my house straightened up. It's a bit of a crazy time right now, and I've been listening to all of the decluttering audiobooks. I've got the Marie Kondo Spark Joy. I've listened to it. It's inspiring to listen to, but I do need to go through all of the clothes, my clothes, the boys' clothes, figure out what doesn't fit, and get those off to donation centers. And I'm looking forward to just doing some more straightening. Last summer, I straightened out my office upstairs, and I've been fairly good about keeping that organized. I have a basket that has some things that need to finally find their forever homes, and that may be with me, it may not be, we shall see. And but my sewing and knitting room on the 3rd floor, I just want to get that all sorted and organized. And once I have that in place, I'm hoping to give you a tour of that space. But for now, I think that's all I've got to share on Bits and Bobs. It is so hot. I just really want to get this podcast uploaded, edited, and then I want to go out tonight where it's air conditioned, because it is hot and there is no AC in my house. Thank you so much for joining me on the Comfy Red Couch this week. I hope that you've had a chance to sit down, relax, and refresh. I know it's been a bit of a shorter episode, but I really hope that you've just had a chance to take some time for yourself. And I am looking forward to sharing whatever I get up to this upcoming week with you next week on the Comfy Red Couch. Have a great week. Bye. Podcast recorded, windows opened, 3 fans on. Time to relax and get cool.